So I just want to talk about this non-duality, right? This upgrade that I have stepped into a couple of days ago. I have heard people talk about non-duality for years, months and years, right? But it cannot be assimilated. Let me just say, I'm speaking from my experience, and I'm speaking from the certitude of my experience, okay? As my experience has taught me, okay? I don't know of anybody that has instantly stepped into non-duality awareness. I think that it requires the step-by-step integration of your dimensional bodies, which involves the shadow work. I see it like the spiral of consciousness, like Dr. David Hawkins with his diagram with the pyramid or the spiral. You have to climb the ladder frequentially, the consciousness ladder, right? You cannot just assimilate non-duality awareness because you mentally assent to it or decide to believe it. Anything you decide to believe is coming from your ego self. And so the ego, if you're doing it through the ego self, you're going to have to repeat the class and go back and undo that eventually, because this is really all about losing the identification to our ego that sustains itself by all these layers of beliefs that we stack onto one another, right, to create our persona. So non-duality is a gradual process that you have to walk the staircase of consciousness in the spiral, and through the shadow work, through the conscious shadow work and the conscious understanding, your awareness increases to the different levels of awareness, the different levels of perspectives. But it's really, like I said, the undoing of our beliefs. And in undoing our beliefs, we are undoing our ego self persona. We realize that our persona was created by beliefs. And as we dissolve the beliefs and the attachments to the beliefs to give us importance and validity in our persona, as we dissolve those and we don't cling to them for our security, then also one by one our attachment to the personal ego identity will dissolve, and we literally become a no thing. And to become a no thing is very threatening to the ego that believes itself to be everything, right? It's the all-important ego self. So this dissolution of everything into a no thing, ego cannot stomach that, and it's going to resist, because we find our meaning in identification, in purpose. I know this because I've gone through this mental process and this awareness process where I was very much attached to having to have purpose. I know there still is purpose because the infinite self didn't just manifest all of this, for no reason at all. But what I'm saying is the purpose doesn't hold the same importance to me anymore. You don't need the importance, I should say it that way. You don't need the importance of a purpose anymore. There's still purpose, but the importance is no longer attached to it when you evolve into the awareness of the infinite self, right? You can just let things be as they are, because everything in that freedom is really the expression of the infinite self as it individuated itself into all of these different forms. Did I make sense with any of this bumbly boobly boo? So my point really was, you can't read a book about non-duality and then decide, oh yeah, I'm going to be a non-dualist now. People who do that are going to look really, really weird. Because it is a form of bypassing. That is a form of bypassing. You can't bypass your ego. You can't bypass your soul. You have to integrate those fragments, those separate, the left brain and the right brain, the mind and the soul. You have to integrate them together as one in order to be able to access the awareness of non-duality. So at first, you have to reclaim your full ego self, your authentic self. You have to do that step to bring in all the fragments, right? And collect them into a unit. And that is your authentic self. And that is better than living a fake self, living an unaware self that runs about this life like an elephant in a china shop, damaging and hurting people and damaging yourself even because you're not self-aware. That self-awareness is important. That ego awareness is important. That ego integration is important. You have to have a whole unit in order to then collapse that into non-duality, into the singularity, into the infinite self-awareness. So there are no shortcuts, and every step on the way is correct. Every step on the way is meaningful and purposeful and intentional, and there is no bypassing it. So just keep on going, one step at a time. Keep experiencing this life. Keep experiencing self-awareness until you become aware of yourself, your authentic self, and say, I'm not really that either. That's still a subcategory to the infinite self-awareness, right? So keep going, keep being, keep becoming self-aware.